Megan, thank you for coming today. Are you enjoying the reception that we've set up?
Yeah, I think it's a nice ceremony.
Oh, are you pretending to be fine? I thought you'd be surprised, so I decided to contact you. You must be thinking about escaping this place right about now, right? Lol.
It's true that I'm not comfortable in crowded places, so I would want to leave, but why do you think that?
It's obvious, isn't it? It's because you didn't even graduate from high school.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
Don't you think there are a lot of foreigners at this wedding? You can hear languages like Spanish, not just English, right?
Yeah, I noticed that. So what?
I figured you must be feeling really nervous because you can't understand those languages. Did you know there are other languages in this world besides English?
Oh, is that so? I didn't know that. You're so smart, as always.
Well, unlike you, I'm not a high school dropout, lol. Since I came back from abroad, most of the guests are foreigners, lol. Maybe you'll give a speech in Spanish, but I guess that's impossible for someone who dropped out of high school, lol.
I'll try my best to give it a shot.
Wait, are you really going to do that? A high school dropout speaking Spanish? That'll be hilarious, lol.
I was planning to give a speech anyway. I was thinking of speaking in Spanish, but since there are so many people from different countries, it might be better to make sure everyone can understand, so I was thinking about that.
Make sure they understand. You mean with body language or something? Lol. You could always do a little sign language too, lol.
That's not what I meant.
Wow, Megan, you're going to embarrass yourself so badly, lol. This will be great entertainment, lol.
Megan, are you okay? You haven't gone and spilled the fire extinguisher or anything, right?
So far, I'm fine, but there are more people here than I expected.
Yeah, Vienna's family business is a famous foreign affiliated company. That's why there are so many people from so many different countries. It's lively and fun, but I'm worried because I know you're not great in crowds.
Just because I'm not great with crowds doesn't mean I'm going to spill the fire extinguisher or anything. I've grown up, you know? I go to places with a lot of people for work all the time.
But I remember back in high school when you spilled the fire extinguisher on people. You were known for being able to get away with anything.
Well, that was...
I know. Some thugs from another school ganged up on you, right? Even someone as tough as you had to defend yourself.
That was a long time ago. Let's just leave it at that.
But I still don't get it. You were expelled for that, and that's how you ended up a high school dropout. That's so unfair.
Well, I had been getting into trouble in other ways too, so it was only natural. But seriously, are you really going to marry a woman like that?
Hey, calling her that woman, it's too much. Are you still on bad terms with Vienna?
It's not so much bad terms as she's always looking down on me. I don't really care who you marry, but honestly, I have no interest in being close to her.
You're still so cold. Vienna is a good girl, you know? Well, I guess she's not really your type with how blunt you are.
It's not just a matter of not getting along. You should notice how awkward she is with you too.
Even if I noticed, it's too late now since we're at the wedding. Anyway, I'll go back to my seat. I'll talk to you later. Good luck with your speech.
Yeah.
Megan, it's time for your speech, lol. As promised, please do it in Spanish, okay? I'm going to record it for you. It's going to be so funny, I'm sure, lol.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, lol. What was that, lol? Your Spanish seemed better than I thought, but then suddenly you started speaking a language I've never heard before, lol. What was that? Was that some kind of spell or something? Lol.
What? You didn't understand it?
Of course I couldn't understand it, lol. I could hardly even catch the Spanish, lol. The people who were listening were so amused they gave you a standing ovation, lol.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, it was so funny. I couldn't stop laughing, lol. I'm going to send the video to Grayson, lol.
Wait, you filmed Megan's speech?
It was a good call to film it, right, lol? It was seriously unbelievable, lol.
Right. I was shocked too. It looks like the guests were all really moved. Megan, you've become the star of the event.
It definitely had a moving vibe, lol. I don't know how you could do something like that without any shame, lol.
Without shame.
Yeah, the Spanish was a mess, lol. It wasn't even Spanish anymore, lol. It was like some kind of spell, lol.
A spell? What are you talking about? Megan was speaking in English, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, and French.
Huh?
She even mixed in some Hindi and German. It's amazing. That's Megan for you.
Huh? What do you mean? What was that spell-like thing?
Spell? What part are you talking about? Megan speaks 5 languages perfectly. Today, she was speaking Hindi, German, so that makes 7 languages. Isn't that incredible?
What are you saying? What do you mean? How is she able to speak so many languages?
How? Well, Megan is a professional interpreter.
Huh?
She travels around the world doing interpretation work. She also does volunteer work in various countries, using her language skills to play an important role. I know I'm her relative, but she's been featured in media multiple times. She's an amazing person.
Is that so? But she's a high school dropout, right?
So what? Her abilities have nothing to do with her education. Megan has always been passionate about justice, and she's worked tirelessly to learn multiple languages and start her volunteer work. Now she even leads support organizations.
It might not matter to you, but I still think the time spent developing character in high school and college is important.
Huh? What are you trying to say?
Oh no, I'm not saying anything in particular.
By the way, why did you ask Megan to give a speech in so many languages? I think in the speech, she mentioned that it was at the bride's request.
Well, it's because there are so many people from different nationalities here. We wanted as many people as possible to hear the speech, right?
Right, that makes sense. You're really doing something classy here.
Of course, right? Hey, don't get carried away, okay? Just because you can speak a few languages doesn't mean you're some big deal, lol.
I'm not thinking I'm a big deal.
You are, though. You're getting a little too full of yourself. You were probably happy getting all that attention, weren't you, lol?
I get plenty of attention from other people, so I don't care.
Whoa! Did you really just say that? That's bold, lol. Saying something like that in public might hurt your reputation, you know, lol.
I don't care. I'll say it if I want to.
Well then, I'll just tell everyone. Get ready for that, lol.
Go ahead.
Hey, Vienna, What's going on here? I have heard that you've been saying bad things about Megan.
I wasn't saying anything bad. It's just that when we were talking earlier, she said I get a lot of attention from people outside, lol. So I just thought, oh, there are people like that, huh? Lol.
That's something that Megan always says in interviews too.
Huh?
Whenever someone asks her why she started volunteering, she always gives a response like that, and she kind of sidesteps the question. That's just how Megan is.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know, but
You really don't like Megan, do you? I just heard from Megan too. What's your deal?
I'm trying to get along with her, but she keeps rejecting me. I'm just trying to communicate with her, mixing in jokes and stuff.
Ah, I see. Well, I'll ask Megan. That's probably the best thing to do.
Huh? Oh, no.
Vienna, what's with this message? This is the screenshot of the message you sent to Megan earlier, right?
It's just a joke. I really wanted to get along with Megan.
Stop lying. You obviously don't like Megan.
No, that's not it. I really did want to get along with her.
If you truly wanted to get along with her and you sent this message, then you must be out of your mind. Vienna, after this, there's no going back.
Huh? What do you mean, no going back?
I can't marry someone who insults others like this. It's too late now. I'm calling off the wedding.
Huh? Wait, hold on. What do you mean? Why are you deciding this on your own?
I can't marry you. We should reset our relationship and start getting to know each other properly, don't you think?
That's not a joke. I'm rejecting you, lol. But I don't know. You're the one who's going to have trouble if you break up with me, not me.
What do you mean by that?
My father is an executive at a major multinational company, you know? He has assets that you'll never get your hands on, no matter how long you live. Are you really okay with breaking up?
I don't care. I'll be fine on my own. And I exchanged business cards with a few people at this event. Even if we break up, maybe I'll end up with some other connection.
What are you pretending for, lol? A low-level guy like you, even if you graduated from university, would never succeed without my connections, lol.
I don't need to succeed. I want to be with someone who can help others, like Megan.
Oh, okay, I get it. I was hoping for marriage, but you've made it clear that you don't want to. I'll cancel the wedding, and I'll cover the costs. Are you happy now?
You just want to be above others, huh? But I do appreciate that you'll pay for the wedding costs. I'll have to return the wedding gifts too.
See? You can't live without getting help from people like me, people from high society, lol.
Maybe. Well, take care.
Don't contact me again. Block my number. Got it? Lol.
Sure thing.
Please, I beg you. Please, for the sake of everything, convince Grayson on your side. I don't know what to do anymore.
Why should I be the one to convince him?
You see, Grayson has blocked my number, and now I can't get in touch with him. I know this sounds desperate, but I really want to marry Grayson. I've made up my mind.
You're lying to me. You're the one who told Grayson to block my number. And don't even start with that story. You were the one who accepted the divorce while insulting him and his family. Now that your parents have cut ties with you, you come crawling back, asking for help. I have no sympathy for you. It's over.
Please wait, that's not true. It's not because I've been disowned by my parents. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. After everything, I've come to realize that I really want to marry Grayson, no matter what.
So, you're going to beg someone you've insulted and mocked, calling them a high school dropout? At this point, it's almost pathetic to lose your pride like this.
What? Why are you speaking like that? How dare you look down on me just because I didn't finish high school? I've worked hard to get where I am.
And there it is. The truth comes out. It's no surprise your family disowned you. I can't imagine why they'd want to keep someone like you around, especially with your father being an executive. You're a ticking time bomb, and no one's willing to deal with the fallout.
Wait, no, I wasn't serious when I said that about being a dropout. I just wanted to get along with you, really.
Well, I don't care. I don't want to get along with you. And I don't owe you anything, especially not any help.
What? You're doing volunteer work, aren't you? So you won't help your own family, but you'll help strangers? That's quite the hypocritical stance you're taking.
Why would I help someone who has attacked me? What kind of sense does that make?
Helping someone even after they've wronged you, that's real volunteerism, isn't it? Please, just let me contact Grayson. He's a good person. I know if I reach out to him, he'll understand and listen.
So, you lost your job, and now you're begging to marry Grayson because it's your only way out? But that's not going to work. My family is already furious. There's no way they'll ever approve of this now.
Huh?
You remember when I was giving my speech? You were sitting there laughing by yourself, right? By that time, my family had already decided they were done with you. Afterward, they found out the truth and were absolutely furious. Your parents came to apologize to us, begging for forgiveness.
But even if my family feels that way, it still comes down to Grayson's choice, doesn't it?
Grayson is aware of everything that's going on. If he hasn't unblocked you yet, that's a clear sign of what his decision is.
Wait. Grayson, please, I'm sorry. Let's try again, please. Just one more chance. Can we?
That's exactly what Grayson said earlier. But you were the one who chose to separate, weren't you? You made your bed. Now lie in it. You have to take responsibility for your decisions and your words.
What? Wait, no! What should I do now? I don't know what to do anymore.
Figure it out yourself. You're a grown-up, aren't you?
I've worked so hard all this time. I've studied, played sports, tried to maintain good relationships with everyone. And yet, after all that, this is how it ends? Why is it like this?
You're saying you've been working on relationships, but I'm not sure I believe that. How can you say such things to me so easily when you insulted my speech, calling it a spell? That's just proof that you didn't care about your education. You were supposed to be a returnee, but you didn't even understand basic Spanish. How is that even possible?
What?
Even if you've gone to a prestigious university, if you've spent all your time partying and not focusing on your studies, then that's worse than being a dropout. It shows a complete lack of commitment.
What did you just say? How dare you talk down to me, you filthy piece of trash!
It's not about your education, wealth, or family background. I don't care about any of that. It's just that you seem to care so much about these things.
Shut up, you pathetic, useless dog!
If all you have to offer is insults, then we have nothing more to discuss. Goodbye. Take care of yourself.
Ha! You're just going to run away like that? You and your brother are both pathetic, lol.
What? My brother, too?
That's right. Grayson blocked you and ran off the second he got a chance. Honestly, he's just as trashy as you, lol.
Stop it already!
What?
You really have the nerve to speak to me like that when the person who loved you and wanted to marry you is right here? Grayson was the one who initially said he wanted to call off the wedding, but he also said he'd be willing to give it another shot, didn't he? How could you throw all that away? To call him trash now? That's beyond ridiculous.
Huh? No, I don't care. It's not any of your business, okay?
Not my business? Fine then, goodbye. I'm done listening to you.
What? You're just going to give up like that? Fine, okay, I admit it. I was wrong. So please, just listen to me.
Sorry, but I really don't think it's worth listening to someone like you. After all, I'm just a high school dropout, right? Lol.
Megan, I'm really sorry about everything today. I didn't mean for things to go the way they did. I didn't expect everything to blow up like it did, and I know I should have seen it coming. It's just that everything felt so complicated, and I didn't know what else to do.
It's fine, but honestly, if she didn't realize how messed up she is by now, then that's her problem. You're a good person, and I know you care about people, but you've got to stop being so naive about this stuff. People like her don't change easily, and if you keep hoping they will, you're just setting yourself up for more disappointment. I'm not saying you shouldn't try, but you have to be realistic about it.
You were such a kind and attractive woman to me, though. It's hard for me to think of you any other way, but I know I've been blind to some things, the way I've been acting around her. I really thought she was different, that she was someone I could trust, but now it feels like I've been a fool.
Well, that's because you look down on people with lower education. You're not one of them, so of course it's easy to think that way. I don't mean to sound harsh, but it's kind of obvious, isn't it? When you're surrounded by people who are more educated and have better jobs, it's easy to forget that not everyone had those opportunities. Not everyone had the same advantages, but that doesn't mean they're any less of a person.
Ah, right. I guess that's true. I see it now, though I didn't want to admit it at first. It's just, I grew up surrounded by people who valued that kind of thing, and it felt like education was the key to everything. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that it's not the only thing that matters. People who are kind, who show empathy and understanding, those are the people who make a difference in the world, not just the ones who have the degrees.
Anyway, now that her true face has been revealed, there's no need to worry about her anymore. You've seen the real her now, and I think it's clear to everyone what she's really about. It's been exhausting trying to see the good in someone who isn't willing to show it. Honestly, I never worried about her from the beginning, and now that everything's out in the open, it feels like a weight has been lifted.
You know, Megan, you've got a bit of a bitchy side to you, don't you? I've always noticed it, but today it really hit me. You act like you don't care, but when it comes down to it, you always have my back. You always find a way to look out for me, even if it's just in little ways. I think that's one of the things I most appreciate about you, even though you don't show it all the time.
What?
No matter how you put it, you always looked out for me, aren't you? You did today. Even though you were acting tough, you were doing what you could do to protect me. I guess I'm not as clueless as I thought. At the end of the day, you do care about me, your little brother, right? You just don't always show it the way I expect, but it's fine. I get it now.
I don't really care either way. I just do what I do. I have to get up early tomorrow for work anyway, so I don't have time for all this drama. I'll figure it out on my own, but I just wanted you to know that I'm not as upset as you might think. It's not that I'm dismissing you, it's just, I don't want to dwell on things too much. I'll move forward.
You really are so difficult to read. You always say the opposite of what you're actually feeling. You act like you don't care about me, but it's obvious that you do. But hey, it's fine. I'm not going to push it. I just thought you should know.
Look, if you keep teasing me like that, do you want me to spray you with a fire extinguisher? Seriously, if you keep playing around with me, I'll have no choice but to make sure you stop. I'm not joking around, you know. I'll make you regret it if you don't knock it off, lol. After that incident, it seems Vienna broke off her engagement with Grayson, and not long after, she was disowned by her family. To be honest, it was shocking to hear. It's strange how quickly things can change for someone. One moment, she was engaged to a man who, I assume, she thought she would spend the rest of her life with. And then, in the blink of an eye, she's left without anything. No fiancé, no family, no home. It's as if her whole life turned upside down in an instant. It's hard to imagine what she must have gone through to end up in such a position. But at the same time, there's a part of me that isn't all that surprised. She'd always lived a sheltered life, so perhaps this was bound to happen at some point. I've seen it before with other people. They live in a bubble, shielded from the harsh realities of life, and then one day the bubble bursts, and they're left to face the world without any preparation. Vienna, for all her outward confidence, was no different. She always had a kind of entitlement about her. It was subtle, but it was there. I'm sure that, for most of her life, she had been pampered by her family, given everything she could have asked for, and never really had to work for anything. It's hard to comprehend what it's like to live like that unless you've experienced it. Everything comes easily, things go your way, people bend over backwards to make sure you're happy. But that's not how life works for most of us. And sooner or later, the reality hits. It can hit hard. It did for Vienna. I did think about offering her some help for a brief moment. I'll admit it felt like the right thing to do at first, to step in and offer support. It's hard to just sit back and watch someone go through a difficult time, especially when you've known them for so long. You want to help, even if it means taking on some responsibility for their well-being. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that offering her assistance might not be as helpful as I imagined. In fact, it could make things worse. I know Vienna well enough to understand that she's always relied on others for support, for money, for comfort. And that's never been something she had to question. She's always had everything handed to her, and now she was in a situation where she was going to have to rely on herself. It was harsh, but I believe it was something she needed to experience. It might be difficult, but I think it's the only way for her to learn. I've never been one to enable people, especially when I know they can figure things out on their own. It's not that I don't care about Vienna or her situation, but I'm starting to realize that stepping in and offering help all the time doesn't always produce the best results. In fact, it can make someone even more dependent on others. People need to stand on their own 2 feet, even if it means facing some hard truths along the way. And Vienna needed to face those truths. She had to understand what it meant to live without the comforts of her previous life. Life isn't just about having everything handed to you on a silver platter. It's about working hard, making choices, and understanding the consequences of those choices. It seems that she's now working at a factory in a small town, living on site. From what I heard, it's not a glamorous job, but it's a job. She's doing it on her own, which I suppose is a step in the right direction, even if it's a far cry from the life she was accustomed to. It must be a massive shift for her to go from having everything taken care of to suddenly having to fend for herself in a factory. I can't even imagine what that transition must feel like for her. She probably didn't imagine this would be her reality. But then again, life has a funny way of surprising us, doesn't it? She might have thought she could avoid this kind of hardship forever, but now she's living it. And while I don't want to sound callous, I believe it's something she needs to experience firsthand. The world doesn't revolve around her, and there are no guarantees in life. If she wants to survive and succeed, she needs to learn how to take care of herself and work hard for everything she has. There's no easy way to learn this lesson, but it's an important one. It's something that everyone at some point has to come to terms with. I'm sure this situation is incredibly difficult for her, but I can't bring myself to offer her any assistance. It's not my place. She's made her choices, and now she has to deal with the consequences. Life isn't always easy. And sometimes you need to go through the hard times to truly understand what it means to live independently. It's a process that requires strength, patience, and the willingness to accept responsibility. And while I sympathize with her, I don't believe stepping in to rescue her will do any good. Sometimes people need to hit rock bottom before they can start rebuilding themselves. She'll get through it, but she has to do it on her own. It's the only way she'll truly learn. I don't want to sound heartless, but I'm just being honest. I've been through my own struggles, and I know that helping someone who isn't ready to help themselves doesn't always result in growth. Vienna has to take this opportunity to figure things out for herself. She has to learn the value of hard work, of perseverance, and of self-reliance. It won't be easy, but it will shape her into a stronger person, even if she doesn't realize it now. And who knows, maybe in the future, when she's in a better place, she'll look back on this moment and be thankful for the lessons she learned. But for now, she's going to have to weather the storm on her own. As for Grayson, I've been hearing that he's already moved on. It didn't take long for him to find someone else. To be completely honest, I was a little surprised at how quickly he was able to move on. I expected him to be devastated, at least for a little while, but no. He seems to have jumped right into another relationship. It's almost as if the breakup didn't bother him at all. It makes me wonder whether he was truly invested in the relationship with Vienna in the first place. I know that sometimes people need to move on quickly after a breakup to avoid feeling the pain, but it's hard not to be a bit suspicious. It just feels strange to me. I'm not saying he didn't care about Vienna, but I do wonder how much he was truly invested. After all, he didn't seem to have any trouble replacing her. I won't lie, I am a little worried about Grayson. Not because I'm concerned for his well-being, but because I feel like he's rushing into something without giving himself time to heal. I've seen it before. People jump into new relationships as a way of avoiding the emotional fallout of a breakup. But the problem with that is, if you don't take the time to process your emotions and heal properly, you're just carrying your baggage into the next relationship. It's not fair to the other person, and it's certainly not fair to yourself. But who knows? Maybe he's doing better than I think. Maybe he's fine. Maybe this new relationship is exactly what he needs. But deep down, I can't shake the feeling that he's simply using it as a distraction, and I'm not sure that's healthy for him. At the same time, I can't help but be a little concerned. I've seen how Grayson can act when things are going well in his life. He can get a bit too cocky, too confident in himself. I know it sounds like I'm judging him, but I've seen this side of him before, and I'm not sure I want to see it again. If I were to start prying into his personal life or offering my opinion on his choices, I know he'd just get arrogant. He'd think I was interfering in his business, and he'd probably push me away. I've been there before. And I'm not interested in going down that road again, so I've decided to step back. There's no point in trying to control what Grayson does or doesn't do. He's made his decisions, and it's not up to me to change them. I've got enough on my plate as it is, and I've learned that the best thing I can do is to focus on my own life. Right now, I'm keeping myself busy with my work and my personal activities. I'm still working as an interpreter, and I continue to be involved in volunteer work. It's something I've been doing for quite some time now, and it's become an integral part of my life. I found a lot of fulfillment in helping others, and I've learned so much from the experience. It's a reminder of how important it is to give back to the community, to help others who are going through tough times. And even though it can be exhausting at times, it gives me a sense of purpose that I can't find anywhere else. It's not always glamorous work, but it's meaningful. It reminds me that I have the ability to make a positive difference in someone's life, even if it's just a small one. And when I'm not working, I enjoy spending time on my own. I've come to appreciate the peace and quiet of solitude. There's something incredibly freeing about being able to do exactly what you want without having to consider anyone else's opinions or needs. I don't have to answer to anyone. And I can focus on my own happiness. I don't have to worry about the expectations of others or feel pressured to meet some ideal of what my life should look like. I'm free to be myself, and that's a luxury I've come to cherish. I've learned a lot about myself in recent years. I've learned that I don't need to follow societal expectations about relationships, marriage, or what a successful life should look like. I'm content with where I am. I'm happy with my life. And I don't feel the need to seek approval from anyone else. If marriage happens, then it happens. But if not, that's perfectly fine too. I'm not defined by my relationship status or whether or not I have a partner. I'm defined by my own choices, my own happiness, and my own sense of fulfillment. And for now, that's all that matters.